Hello everyone. Welcome to Executive Women in Vietnam, the program that interviews leading business women here about the pain and gain doing business here. I'm your host, Winnie Lam, and I am the Business Solutions Director at AB Horizon Vietnam. Today, I'm very happy to have Nguyen-Stevenin of Fox International Channel, where she is the General Manager for the last 3 years for Vietnam territory. Tram was born in Vietnam and grew up in France. She returned to Vietnam in 2008. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the media industry development in Vietnam and how Tram is working in giving back to the society also. Welcome, Tram, to the program.
Thank you, Winnie.
All right. Media is definitely something growing very fast in Vietnam. And Fox being an international company here, tell us a little bit about the development of it.
So yes, media is growing very fast. There are many opportunities. Vietnam is a vibrant market. People are really, on a consumption mode, and they want to be entertained, they want to enjoy life, they want to know more about the world, about other people. So definitely it's a very interesting time, although also challenging because the market is not structured and not mature, and it's still short-term driven, but definitely very interesting, a very vibrant population, young, more and more educated and open to knowledge and to growing and improve themselves.
Now, with the explosion of the internet and everything, there were sayings that TV is going to be out. You know, less and less people are watching TV. Is it really that way, or it's just a misconception?
Yeah, I don't think this is. Actually, I don't think the question should be raised in terms of media, but in terms of content. So even, it's quite interesting. If you look at the press, for instance, with the revolution of the internet and the digital age, actually now lots of newspapers have transferred successfully into the web page, and they are still successful, and they still send news every day to their subscribers. So I don't think we should talk about media in itself, but in terms of content. And content will always be king, because content is what you want to see at that particular moment, what you like, what you enjoy. So I think it's also good, because then the traditional television has to challenge itself and to evolve in order to propose more interaction with the viewers, to propose programs that are more adapted and suitable to the new trends and lifestyle. So I don't think and in Vietnam, actually, television is still very strong. If you look at, like the numbers of television sets in the home, so it's more than even in Europe. It's more than 2, on average.
Okay.
So people still very enjoy to have television. They usually eat or watch TV together. That's also a good family, moment.
Yes.
It's for them. So that's interesting. So, and we try to serve them with very new, fresh, entertaining programs, and also documentaries with National Geographic Channel, for instance, sports, to get them excited and entertained.
Good. It's good that you brought up content. All right. Vietnam being a newly opened market. And I would say a lot of the content will still be classified as sensitive, right? I don't necessarily want to use the word censorship, but when we talk about media, I think we really can't escape that without exploring the relationship between different contents, content diversity, and censorship. How was your experience in Vietnam?
For us, we broadcast 7 channels in Vietnam, and of course, all the channels need to comply by Vietnam regulation. That's a standard, and that's really something that we have been very careful about. And the fact that the content must be approved and censored to adapt and to adjust to the local sensibilities is something very normal, I think. And within the region, actually, we are servicing also like other countries where the censorship may be even more strict or even more, detailed.
Well, that's interesting to know.
Than in Vietnam. And the truth is, our programs being mostly entertainment, documentary, education, sports, music, there's not so much trouble with, censorship. And I think that's a really normal working process. And we are also very lucky that we have been working very well with the censorship department. So whenever there's something, a content which may be sensitive, we have a dialogue. And we know why this title, for instance, this movie may be sensitive. Sometimes it's because it contains some strong images that in any case should not be broadcasted to children or to a large public. Or in some other times it may be just a timing issue because the movie is about a very sensitive topic and just appearing in the news, at that time.
Similar story.
Yeah, so a similar story. So we should avoid it, not to increase,
anxiety,
anxiety.
fear.
So actually, I don't see censorship as a constraint. I see as a working frame where you can learn also from your viewers, from the audience, and you can adapt also because. What we want at the end of the day is that the people watch our channels and are happy to see the content and get entertained and get excited. So I don't see it as a constraint, and we are very lucky that the relation is very good.
Okay. Then when it comes to diversity, because television is in every home,
yes,
as you said, and you have different age group and different background of people, yes, that you have to cater to. So say, for example, in particular in Vietnam, is there a specific focus or you're driving certain directives that would help give us the diversity that we crave?
Actually, in our portfolio, we have very different channels, genders, that can cater to the whole family. So, for instance, we have star movies, about movies, Hollywood blockbusters and movies, Star Wars, which is more feminine, trend-setting channel with many shows, reality shows, games, lifestyle. And cooking also. And then we have National Geographic that would cater to everyone from 7 to 77 interested in learning, knowing about science, about people, about the world, about really discovery, and willing to discover things. And we have sport channels that obviously can cater maybe more to a male audience, but not only, with many different type of sports. Like we have, for instance, the French Open, Roland Garros, going on now on Fox Sports. So there's content and there's room for everybody to, and that's also our mission. Is we are giving the choice and we are giving a selection so that people can pick and watch what they like.
So let's bring it back a little bit closer to home here. Are any of the programs specifically collaborated with any resources that are for Vietnam particularly? So
we have some local production. so like it's more like small formats, short formats that we do. For instance, on Star Movies, we have a weekly highlight of the upcoming movies. So it's animated, it's hosted by a Vietnamese journalist specialized into movies and cinema. So he will explain, what is coming up next on the channel and highlight the few movies that are, worth watching or seeing again. We have also some vignettes that we do on Star World about trends in Vietnam, about fashion in Vietnam, nice places to go. So the vignettes is called Style Setter. It's a way also for us to create some local relevance with the audience.
All right. So now we've said earlier that you came back here in 2008 and you're involved in a, I would say, very spotlight type of industry because it's media.
Yes.
Does being a woman make it any difference? Easier, more difficult?
Actually, it's interesting because I think with age, I got to be asked a lot this question of the gender.
Age?
I think that's quite interesting. But the way I see it is like, I've never seen my career path or my choice as driven by gender. So, and I think that's also something that women should be proud of. To have this capacity to, be persistent, to get, like what they want in their career life and in their also personal life. So the question of gender has never even, interested me. When I lived for a long time in Europe. I studied in France and in Italy, and then I worked in also in Italy and in France. And none of my career choices was dictated by a gender issue. If I wanted a job, I would just go for the job. Because I think I can bring something to the company and the company can bring something to me. So it has never been a question. And I think also if you have this attitude of putting aside the gender issue and don't make it, maybe hinder you in what you want, then people also react very positively to the way you go for a job or for a project, and most of the time I usually say to the other women that I think it's true. There are still many places and many industries and in the daily life where there's kind of a disadvantage of being a woman. But if you take it as a given, as a fact, it's a fact, I'm a woman, and then you just make the most of it because, and you don't raise this gender anymore, this gender issue anymore, then you can go for your dreams. And most of the times, things that I've noticed is that some women would put themselves, some limitation, and that's not the way you should be handling, in your personal life and in your career life.
Definitely. Vietnam being a country with a very high percentage of productivity driven by female, I actually felt at times even more privileged here, being one of the female business figure here.
Yes.
Because I feel that at the very least, there is very equal opportunity. Vietnam is reported to have one of the highest board appointment when it comes to female. Do you feel the privilege on the other hand?
Actually, I've mostly been working with multinationals and international organizations. And yes, I think it's even easier to be a woman in Vietnam. and to be very successful. But actually, I think it's a whole, because as a woman, you also need to balance, and you also need to not only focus on one side of your life, maybe family or career development. You also have to focus on yourself, on what you want to be, how you want to evolve, what you want to be giving back to society, how you want to bring something to the community. And I think but it has to be a balance, because and everything has a price, comes with a price. So actually I've been very lucky, because my success is also that in a big part because I'm supported by my family, by my husband, and by friends. So it gives me the confidence and like the peace to go and do the projects that I like.
Great. I know that a lot of the business women in Vietnam are very into giving back to the society, no matter it's through the work or through the individual initiatives. I know you have great interest in this line of work also. So can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yes. So actually, it started when I went back to Vietnam. Before returning to Vietnam, I was in the telco industry and in the in the startup environment. And then I accepted to go back to Vietnam and to direct the European Chamber of Commerce, because I saw it as a really good opportunity to do something different in my career, and also to build a bridge between Europe, my mainland, and then Vietnam, my born country, and to facilitate businesses, initiatives in Vietnam, to engage the dialogue, and also to leverage Vietnam economy, and bring and building this bridge, this exchange. Then it's beneficial to both sides. So I've always been very interested personally to link business with development, because I don't think it should be apart. I don't think there's a side where you just do like NGO work, and then there's a side where you do business. It should be linked, because and in that framework, I've been writing 2 business cases with the UNDP on initiatives that brought value, and engaging and empowering the poor. So I wrote 2 business cases for Vietnam, with focusing on 2 initiatives and 2 businesses in Vietnam that were including the poor into the chain of value and creating value as a successful business. Because at the end, when you are a successful business, then you can give back. But I don't believe in the fact that we do something for free. That nothing is for free. You should be efficient in what you're doing, because the main target is that you are redistributing. But you should be all the more successful to have a lot of things to redistribute.
So it's almost like the story goes back to instead of giving a fish, we teach them how to fish.
So
right?
I really think, and I really think that we have. I think the reason why businesswomen are very interested into giving back is that we have opportunities, and we've had maybe more luck than some others. And we could grasp these opportunities and make something out of it. So, and we would like to create also opportunities for the others. Actually, the way I see it is like I can give something which is the most precious for me, which is my time, to coach and monitor younger executive ladies, and to give them, a sense of also not only business but also in their in their life in general, because I think it's quite important to know, who you are and what would you like in order to really achieve your goals.
Definitely.
Otherwise it's going to be very short term, and you will not be, maybe you will achieve some goals, but you will not be happy because it's not fulfilling. So I really think that it starts with knowing about yourself and be true to yourself, and going with passion and dedication to create things and to share things.
This is an exciting time in Vietnam. We just finished the Obama visits. The spirit is high.
Yes.
For yourself, professionally and personally, what do you see as the main challenge going forward? We're definitely seeing a lot of opportunities.
Yes.
And where do you think it lies with the media industry, for example, and for your personal goal in terms of giving back?
I think the challenge is always to manage the growth. When you have when you are in a very exciting market and you are growing, you need to manage wisely the growth, because at one point you'll be overwhelmed. That's a normal phenomenon. And also I think in the personal life, I just realized just recently, it never struck me before, but that people are aging, and I think it comes with maturity, because before that I was kind of, I was not thinking about the age, and and I think it's really, there's a time for everything in life. So it's not a challenge. It's just I think there's only one truth in life, is that everything will always change. And you need to adapt to that, and to be in adequation, and and to synchronize yourself. And I noticed that maybe because now I'm approaching 40, so it was not something that was like appealing to me before, about thinking about life and time and duration, but this is something that that is more of interest to me now, and that's just the natural evolution, that the older you grow, the more you want to bring or to leave to the younger generation, and this was not something that was striking to me before.
Good. It's like it's lucky that we have you here, and thank you for sharing today. All right, everyone, this concludes my conversation with Tram today, and we hope that you have enjoyed it. I'm your host, Winnie Lam, and until next time, I hope to see you on the next episode of Executive Women in Vietnam again.
Thank you, Winnie.
Thank you, Tram.